This video comes from my Archaeology Corroborates the Bible series. Entries in this series are based on the book Unearthing the Bible, written by Titus Kennedy. Kennedy looks at 101 archaeological discoveries that bring the Bible to life. Dr. Titus Kennedy is a professional field archaeologist, an adjunct professor at Biola University, a research fellow at Discovery Institute, and has been a consultant, writer, and guide for history and archaeology documentaries and curricula. Kennedy currently directs archaeological projects in Bible lands, and he has researched and photographed artifacts from around the world. Artifacts left behind from the vanished ancient world of the Bible have been found and recovered through archaeology. What is an artifact? In simple terms, an artifact is an ancient object made or modified by humans, and many have been found, especially in recent years, at archaeological sites around the world. Artifacts include statues, altars, jewelry, weapons, tools, inscriptions, paintings, coins, scarabs, tablets, papyri, stelae, reliefs, and pottery, showcasing the artistic and technological prowess of the ancients. But more importantly, artifacts tell stories of the past. They serve as both visual and informational aids that provide insight into that ancient context and toward an accurate understanding and interpretation. The Bible is a collection of books written millennia ago in places and cultures far removed from modern readers, but artifacts can give us essential knowledge of the ancient world and help us avoid the problem of unconsciously or inadvertently viewing a passage or book in the context of a modern society and time. Because the Bible contains stories from the ancient world, written in a style different than the method of modern historians and paired with theology, many have assumed that the narratives in the Bible are myth, legend, and propaganda instead of accurate history. In fact, the majority of scholars, most media and educational sources, and many in the general public regard the Bible as a fairy tale and frequently portray it as unimportant or irrelevant beyond literary and religious studies. For years, the Bible has been routinely attacked and disregarded on the basis of history or archaeology. And yet, when people look into what archaeologists have unearthed, a different story comes to light, showing that instead of fiction and fairy tales, archaeology indicates that the Bible preserves an accurate recounting of the history addressed in its pages. Specifically, hundreds of artifacts from the distant past have demonstrated the events, people, and places in the Bible to be historical. At ancient Mare in northern Mesopotamia, a huge archive of about 25,000 Akkadian cuneiform tablets from the Middle Bronze Age was discovered within the palace complex during excavations, most from the 18th century BC, and many specifically from the region of the Amorite king Zimrilim around 1760 BC. The site of ancient Mare is located in northern Syria near the homeland of the biblical patriarchs, about 200 miles or 320 kilometers southeast of Haran. The first tablets of Mare were discovered in 1933. These tablets include references to various customs and names unique to the period. The city was a major center of the Amorite people who were prominent in the region from about 2000 to 1600 BC, which is the time of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. Because Akkadian was the most prominent Semitic language spoken and written in ancient Mesopotamia, it was probably the native language of Abraham in Ur. The Amorites, many of whom were originally nomadic, had lived in Canaan and northern Mesopotamia, eventually growing more powerful and becoming a dominant force centered at Mare by about 1800 BC. However, just after 1600 BC, they began to be assimilated into newly emerging empires, and by the 14th century BC had nearly disappeared. The Amorites are mentioned in Genesis during the time of Abraham and Jacob, who had personal interactions with them. Some of the tablets found at Mare even describe a covenant practice that was recorded in Genesis during the life of Abraham, specifically utilizing animal slaughter when a land covenant is made to show the solemnity of the covenant. These tablets from the 18th century BC found at Mare many personal names match or are similar to those recorded in Genesis during the time of the patriarchs, including Abram, Laban, Jacob, and Mare-Yamina, which appears to be similar to Benjamin. While these are not attestations of the individuals written about in Genesis, it does demonstrate that those names were in use during the Middle Bronze Age in Mesopotamia. Two important cities from the patriarchal narratives are also mentioned in the Mari archive: Haran, one of the cities where Abraham lived, and Laish, later named Dan, which Abraham visited as he journeyed to settle in Canaan. The discoveries at Mari of the same specific land grant covenant form, in addition to personal and place names of the time and region, suggest that the narratives about the patriarchs in Genesis accurately reflect the historical period in which they are set. Tablets from an archive discovered at Nuzi, a prominent ancient city near the Tigris River in northern Mesopotamia, were written mostly in Hurrian or Horate and date from about 1500 BC. About 5,000 tablets are currently known from Nuzi. Some of the tablets discovered at Mare are Akkadian and date from around 2200 BC, but these are not as pertinent to the social customs and covenants of the patriarchs. The tablets from Nuzi surfaced in about 1896, but excavations at the site did not begin until about 1925. Examination of these tablets revealed that many social and cultural customs documented at Nuzi show a match between customs found in the patriarchal narratives of Genesis that were particular to the culture of Mesopotamia around 2000 to 1500 BC. A few of the customs appear to be unique to the time period, while other tablets illuminate historical context or language. A few known tablets from Nuzi show customs of adoption of indirect heirs for childless couples similar to the process mentioned by Abram when he had followed this custom and assumed adoption of Eliezer of Damascus as his heir, because he and Sarah had not been able to have their own children. The odd instance of Esau selling his birthright to Jacob is also a practice found in the Nuzi archive, in which one tablet describes the transaction between two family members of an inheritance share of an orchard being sold for 3 sheep. The act of having children by proxy is another social custom recorded in the Nuzi tablets, matching the situation of both Sarah and Rachel when they used another woman as a proxy to bear children. The Nuzi tablets likewise contain a custom of deathbed blessing, which is found in the context of Isaac blessing Jacob and Jacob blessing his grandsons Ephraim and Manasseh, and yet is not recorded in later periods. The type of engagement and marriage arrangements shown in the story of Jacob and Rachel were also apparently found at Nuzi, which was geographically near where Rachel was living in northern Mesopotamia. Furthermore, marriage relations seen as culturally appropriate by the patriarchs in Genesis, such as Abraham marrying his half-sister, Jacob marrying his 2 sisters, Judah and Simeon marrying Canaanites, and Joseph marrying an Egyptian, were all later banned by the Mosaic Law in the 15th century BC and following that time either not practiced or severely condemned. Leah and Rachel also complained that their father consumed our money, or dowry, which is a phrase known from Nuzi in reference to a father withholding the dowry. The drive for Rachel to steal the teraphim from her father Laban is also explained by the Nuzi tablets, which contain the same word and illuminate the importance of the teraphim. These teraphim were sacred objects and family heirlooms, usually in the form of a small idol, and good fortune or blessing was associated with having possession of them. According to a document from Nuzi, the teraphim would be passed down only through the son and heir of the family, and therefore it is understandable that Rachel would have to steal the teraphim because she would not have received it as an inheritance and was upset that she did not receive her dowry. So from this, we can see that the Nuzi and Mari tablets can be used to argue that the accounts written in the book of Genesis are historical and can be taken as historical, that they're not fiction. These are archaeological artifacts that could be argued to corroborate the historical nature of the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 15, verses 7 through 10 say, "Then he, God, said to Abraham, I am the Lord who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to inherit it. And Abraham said to God, Lord God, how shall I know that I will inherit it? So God said to Abraham, bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. Then he brought all these to him and cut them in two down the middle and placed each piece opposite the other, but he did not cut the birds in two. I see the